Hello everyone, welcome to Literati, where we discuss books and literatures and we talk to authors and writers and discuss about their journey, how they began with writing, how they have evolved as a writer, what are the plus and minuses, how was their journey. In conversation today, we have with us Sudha Ramnath. Sudha is based out of Hyderabad, is a blogger, is a traveler, has written innumerable short stories, and is writing her third book. Let us hear from her what she has for us today. Hi, we have Sudha today with us. Welcome, Sudha. Sudha Ramnath is
Hi,
again an
Shweta.
author, a blogger. Hi, good to have you from Hyderabad, and we have
Yeah.
this interview for our channel Literati. So, Sudha has written travel blogs. She has written two books. So her first book is Susp'ENDED, which is a collection of 10 short stories based around the rural background of India. Her another book, the second book is Flight or Fright. This is title of the book, Flight or Fright, which is again based on thriller coupled with a hijack kind of story and with lots of twists and turns, and that's how it takes place. Her third book, which is coming now, which is underway, is again a psychological thriller. So then I see you are more into thrillers, suspense, and does it tickle you?
Yes,
Is
of course.
that your genre?
That is my genre
Okay,
to
you enjoy writing thriller.
also reading.
So okay, so you read thriller also. I mean
Yeah.
that looks obvious. So at first of all, tell me, how did your journey as a reader start? Were you an avid reader during school times or your growing up times, or what kind of
Of course,
stories
I
or books?
remember. Uh, yeah, I have always loved stories than kind of facts. So I think the first book I read must have been sometime when I was around 5, maybe, to the best of my memory. So, and I have never stopped reading. Like, I don't think I have been away from a book not more than for a week. I mean, that is the maximum I can
Oh,
exist without reading.
oh, great! And who is your favorite? If I have to ask, author or writer or poet?
Agatha Christie, of course. Everybody who knows me knows that. In fact, there's a joke going around in my house. She has written around 30, sorry, 70 books. And I know in every book who is the murderer, who gets murdered. In fact, my husband always jokes. He says that if I give you some money and I'll ask you the next day where is the money, you will not remember. But if I ask you who did the murder in so and so book, you are like, immediately you know the answer.
That's great. Sudha, you have also traveled extensively. I see you have traveled to Europe. You have actually gone to see the Northern Lights. Have you? You
Yeah,
have
yeah.
traveled vastly in India also. How did
Uh,
weave these travel stories in your stories, or do they influence your writing, or do you take any clue
of course,
from whatever places? Okay,
of course.
would you I'm sorry, would you love to share any of those stories with us? Any interesting thing which you think our viewers should know?
Yeah, actually, it's the other way around, like this, for example, this northern lights which you spoke about, these they are called Aurora Borealis. So I read about it when I was like maybe in 8th or 9th, 13th or 14th, in a book called Night Without End by Alistair MacLean. So those days
Okay.
there's no internet, nothing. So I just like I had a vivid imagination of what it would look like. So it has been a fascination for me, not only for me, even to my kids. I have been able to like they are also infected with that kind of a love for nature and traveling. So that's why I kind of I made it my life's mission to go and watch. So rather than me, that is getting influenced by other, because of the book, that is what happened. I mean, I got this inspiration to see it because of reading that book.
Oh, lovely. I remember my first instances of reading about it was our physics lab, when the first experiment in class 11th was N2N and N2S.
Okay.
So if anybody had read physics in the
Yeah,
plus 2
I did.
years,
Yeah.
was that.
So you actually could create Aurora Borealis in the lab, is it?
No, it was not actually Aurora Borealis, but the idea that North Pole and South Pole, and they have these magnetic waves, and that's how they create an effect over the sky.
Correct.
The scattering of light and all. Very basic,
Okay.
very basic.
Yeah.
Okay. And how is this thriller part? I see all three of your books have thriller element in them. So are you in your life also a typical person who sees thrills and adventures wherever they go, or wherever, you know?
That's a very
It's an
interesting question.
adrenaline rush.
I love being thrilled. I mean, even in little things like somebody rings the bell, I kind of like, I have this innate, what do you call, suspense. Oh, who's at the door? Even if I know it will be the maid, I'll get very, probably it is not, probably it is somebody new, probably it is somebody delivering a book to me. I love thrills. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Interesting too, for someone who is new to you. It would be really interesting to know this side of your personality. I was going through your second book, actually, the gist of it, the Flight of Fright, which is beautifully woven. And when we came to know about this Kandahar flight hijack, which was from Kathmandu to Delhi, and it was taken to Kandahar.
Yeah.
So I was pretty
Kandahar,
but the story took me through those lines, and they're pretty interesting characters, pretty interesting moves that I don't know, should I tell it to the viewers or not. So they were terrorists, and there was also one traveler who was terrorist. So it was very interesting to to find out who that person could be, because you end up suspecting everyone. Could be this, could be that.
Yeah.
kind of situation.
Yeah, it's actually it is kind of even this Gumna movie, like everybody gets killed off. It's again actually based on an expats. Yeah. So I had always been fascinated.
So the person you suspect gets killed. So it always happens.
No,
the person you suspect gets killed. Now who? So kind of situation.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So in any first-hand experience similar to this, or it is just through mine?
Actually, I was like this Indonesia flight which disappeared. Sometimes, yeah. So the direct inspiration was that Malaysian flight. Yeah, sorry. So when it disappeared, I kept thinking, what would have happened? What would have logically happened? So that kind of, even though people will not recognize it, it's not actually based on it, but it is based on my imagination of what could have happened. So I have always noticed that when people are put into a position where there is lot of tension, some people come out with their best, some people go to pieces, and who will do what you can never guess. So this is the situation I am putting all my passengers into. When they find that they are stranded in a place, they don't know. They don't have any equipment, none of the phones, nothing is working, there is no electricity. And still the human spirit being what it is, everyone tries to like come out of it and reach civilization. So the whole story is about how this group of people who are not family, who are not friends, totally unconnected to each other, but still help each other because of necessity, and each brings out his own special skill to the group's survival. And whether they reach civilization is or not, that you have to read the story. And yeah, and in the middle of all this, there is one person actually who's a terrorist,
Wow.
but the person is
So,
pretending to be a, yeah. Hello.
which actually have writing.
I didn't get you.
I said, you have been reading books and stuff since the age of 5, as you told us. When exactly the
Yeah.
writing happened?
It was a very late. I think I wrote my first book in 2010. Yeah, because like
Okay.
I used to write. I've always been writing, but I never thought of publishing or writing a proper novel. It was always like those days there were no
Correct.
blogs. The concept of blogs were not there. So what I would do is I would write and send it by email to all my friends who used to like to read what I'm writing. So when Facebook came, it was the natural platform for me to chip and start writing on Facebook. So there was a in Facebook there is something called notes. I think now it is not there. It has been removed.
Right.
So I used to write lot of
Earlier it
notes
was
and publish them. Yeah, earlier it was
notes.
that. Yeah, so they I used to publish on that because some of them were lengthy, not too long for Facebook post. Then I would publish them as notes. So once when I started writing a blog, I shifted the whole thing into my blog.
Okay. So from Facebook notes to blogs to novel. And then
Yes.
when did you realize that you should now publish your novel, or your family or friends would have encouraged you? So take us through
Of course, it was.
that journey. It sounds interesting.
Yeah. So it was actually I wrote something quite very interesting on Facebook, and my brother called up and he kind of like yelled at me. What do you mean you are writing like this? If you really think you are good, why don't you write a novel? I mean, till then I never seriously thought that I have it in me to do it or not. The moment he said, I thought, what is it I want to write about? Then of course I came up with the answer. It has to be a thriller, and it has to have a suspense because those who are my favorite genres. So I discussed with my kids and my husband. So this story slowly formed, and I had almost like kind of decided how to go about it. I was visiting my son in the US. I happened to see a Netflix series called Lost, and I got so enamored of it. I wanted my book to be something like that too. So I combined Lost series with the disappearance of a flight, and actually I'm a very people person. I love people. I love watching them, talking to them, observing them. So I put lot of interesting characters into it, and that is how my story came about.
As you said, you are an observer. That I also noticed when I was going through your blogs, and you seem to observe people more, the people around you more, people while you travel more. So any such occasion where you have observed someone somewhere and inculcated that in your writing, any character that
Yeah,
you say is inspired by someone,
actually,
has it ever
more than a character, there was once I was traveling to Chennai on the train, and the train had stopped at some station in the middle of the night, maybe like 2 a.m. or something like that. So I kind of was sitting on the at the window, and I saw this very strange sight. A young guy, obviously mad. So he was like all alone in the platform, yelling and crying his heart out, and the word he kept repeating was Rosie. He was calling somebody called Rosie and crying and beating himself up. But I don't know that I couldn't stop thinking about that incident. So that forms one of the short stories in my collection of Suspended. So the Suspended series, all of them have a very unexpected ending. So this, even though
right?
I don't really know what his true story was or who Rosie was, but I created a story around that incident of somebody in the railway station crying out for a girl called Rosie. That is one of the books.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Though I am not, I was not an, a part of the either the story or what is railway station that actually reminded me of there's a movie Sri Devi and Kamala Hassan, Sadma, and the ending
Of course, yeah.
was similar,
At the railway
quite
station,
similar.
yes.
I
Such
mean,
a
too
movie.
emotional.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I believe it is one of Kamal's best performance. Like he's yearning, he's trying to, like the train is going to leave, and he has to make her realize who he is. He tries everything, like he knows the birds are not going to help. So he tries
Every
to act
possible
out some of things. Oh my God.
thing
Yeah,
he could.
it's one of the best.
So the ending. I mean, the ending of the movie reminds me of the incident that you have spoken. Any character
Yeah.
of yours, Sudha, you feel you are that is kind of your favorite or your inspiration, or you feel is more closer to you?
Yeah, though I don't remember her name, though I like named her. The main protagonist of Fright is, I won't say like she's, for example, she's very athletic. She is the one who kind of leads the whole group climbing the mountains, because they actually, I am letting that out. They find themselves behind Himalayas, China, Tibet, that kind of area. Okay, so she is the one who brings them. So I'm not at all athletic. So I would say the quote that I put my feelings into her a lot. Like there is one scene in the flight. There is one boy who comes from a broken home. So he is very insecure, very unhappy. That kind of a very angry kind of boy. So she takes this guy under her wings and she talks to him about luck. So that point where she talks about luck, that is me. That is a kind of what I always think. So she asked this boy, do you think, the boy keeps saying, I have been very unlucky because everyone I loved have died. So she asked him, what do you think about me? Do you think I am lucky? So that the voice is, obviously you are lucky. You are such a smart person. You are a teacher. You are a mountaineer. You are able to form a leader for the whole group. So obviously you are lucky. So she tells him, I'm also unlucky. Do you know? I lost my husband at a very young age. I loved my teaching job. I lost my job. I lost my parents when I was very unhappy. So whether you are lucky or not is not decided by others but by yourself. If you think you are lucky, then you can be lucky. You will show to the world the luck part of you, that best part of you. If you believe you are unlucky, then you will show only that part. So finally, whether you're unlucky or lucky does not depend on external situations, but what you think about yourself. That part is completely like what I believe in. So yeah, that is the answer.
That's most beautiful. I mean, uh, there's so much of learning in those couple of sentences. You will show the world what you feel inside. So those are very beautiful lines, actually. And if I may ask you, you're writing your third novel. It's a thriller. What are the future plans? What are the future
Ah,
plans apart from this novel?
okay. So I have been trying my hand at kind of comedy, stand-up comedy kind of thing. Not technically stand-up comedy, but something like that. So I have done a couple of things online now, because now we cannot. I have done it in person also in a couple of places, not for public, but more like my friends, instead of my friends and my relatives. So I would like to do that, because I really love humor.
Lovely. You look people's person kind of a personality. You love being with people. You love talking to them and make
Yeah,
people
that's,
happy.
yeah.
Is that so? Oh, lovely,
I mean,
lovely.
it's not
So
consciously, but yeah, because people like humor. Yeah.
things happen that's your that's part of your personality and it's a beautiful one. So the other day we were talking and I was so happy that I found someone from Hyderabad who was so close. I
And from
wish
the
I could
same
have
locality too.
met
Yeah.
you. same
Yeah.
from same locality, and
Yeah.
it's pleasure. It was a pleasure talking to you. So any parting advices or messages for our viewers, or the budding up writers,
Uh,
that you want to give? No, apart from writing, that you write thriller, and it requires a lot of attention and a piece of your mind. How do you unwind yourself? In anything that you would want to share with our viewers?
Actually, like if like you were talking about what should I tell people who want to aspire to write. One thing is travel a lot. I feel like travel kind of broadens your perspective. It kind of gives you new experiences. It makes you think like others. Normally, we in our neighborhood, the people we meet, most of them think like us. So when you go abroad, you meet people with other perspectives, people who don't think like you. So I feel that kind of broadens your outlook and helps you write. And of course, you have new experiences, new places to look at. So right now, actually, today, in fact, this new novel I am writing, I took both the girls, very important characters of my book, to Australia. And my son had been there recently, just before the coronavirus. So I asked him to send photos, and I kept looking at the photos and decided where to place them. I would have preferred to have gone to Australia myself, but it's not possible. So I feel that kind of thing will give you give the author one edge. Like the people who read, they feel it's more authentic. You can picture it in your mind, or if you've gone there, and then write about it. So because this was a very important part of the story, I wanted to place it in such a way where they are both casual. They both are actually in love at the same time, and they know each other, but they have not addressed that issue enough. So at that point, they sit in front of this opera house and discuss that. So I wanted to give that atmosphere, how it looks. So my son sent me the photos, and I just finished writing a part of it today. So I feel that one is that they should travel a lot. Second is like have a sympathy to people. Try to understand people. Like if you see somebody very angry, instead of saying, "Oh, that guy is always angry," probably there is something that makes him angry. So when you look at that, you will get substance to write. If you are sympathetic towards a person, you get lot of stories to write. And another thing is, please don't stop, right? Whether you sometimes you may be worried, oh my God, is my grammar good enough? Am I using the right words? Like, don't bother. Just keep writing, writing. Slowly it will improve. That's what it did to me too. If I read some of the things I wrote when I was like 30 or so, I cringe, oh my God, such a horrible language. But I feel what I have reached now is because I did not mind. Just wrote whatever I felt like, whatever came in my mind. I just put it down on paper those days. Of course, nowadays I put it on my laptop. Yeah.
So, viewers, that was Sudha Ramnath with us, and we shared a wonderful conversation with her. She gave us a lot of insights of her writing, her way of looking at things, her way of observing. So, thank you, Sudha, for having with us, and we'll meet again with your third novel.
Thanks a lot, Shweta and Ashok, for this opportunity to connect with my readers and kind of tell them what inspires me. Mostly, it is again people like them which inspire my writing. Thank you so much.